What does it mean to be a hunter? I say it's all about where you belong. The warlocks have their libraries, titans have their walls. But hunters belong in the wilds. Out there, you want to live, you better have a quick shot or a sharp blade. A lot of us are loners, but that's not the only path. Some of us know the difference a fireteam makes. Some of us, we touch the void, make it a part of us. And then we take a name. Nightstalker. Hunt from the shadows, pin them down, never let them see you coming.
What's up everyone, Darcblade here with another episode in my Guide in Destiny series. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at the Nightstalker Hunter. Now remember that the builds I use in these videos are general builds that work best for me, and they may not work as well for you. Also, the damage that you do in PvE will vary depending on your level, gear and so on. Lastly, the builds I use in these videos are aimed at endgame content. The Nightstalker Hunter is a void based class. They are designed for support roles, allowing you and your allies to take on foes with ease. With the right attitude and patience, the Nightstalker can cripple any foe and allow them to be taken down incredibly quickly. Now moving on to talk about the 3 grenade abilities available to the Nightstalker. The first is the Spike Grenade. Taken directly from the Defender Titan, the Spike Grenade works pretty much the same as it does for that class. When thrown, the Spike Grenade will stick to any surface, after which it will sprout damaging void beams directly from the top of the grenade. It doesn't deal damage in a blast radius. Instead, its damage is dealt via a small cone from the tip of the grenade. The damage it actually causes is dealt in very fast pulses, and anyone caught in the cone will take a lot of damage. It's also a grenade that is great for area denial, like blocking off points in the Crucible. You have to be careful with this grenade though, as it does not stick to enemies, and if the grenade does hit an enemy, it will bounce off of them and land in an unintended position, potentially making the grenade useless. It's also a shame that the cone doesn't last for long. The pros for this grenade are its high damage area denial capabilities. The cons though are that it deals damage via a short cone and doesn't last long. It also needs to be placed with accuracy to be at its best. The next grenade is the VOIDWALL grenade, a unique grenade only available to the Nightstalker. It is very similar to the Sunbreaker's Thermite grenade. However, instead of the fire trail going towards foes, the VOIDWALL grenade creates a horizontal wall of void fire that damages foes caught in it. This works well on slow moving or stationary targets. It again is another great area denial grenade. However, like the Thermite grenade and even the Spike grenade, if the grenade hits a target, the trajectory can become screwed up, resulting in the void wall in the wrong place. The pros for this grenade are that it works well on slow or stationary foes, and is excellent for aerial denial. The cons are though that the grenade needs to be thrown with accuracy for the best results. The final grenade is the VORTEX grenade, taken straight from the Voidwalker Warlock. The VORTEX grenade works pretty much the same as it did for that class. Once thrown, it will detonate on any surface, including enemies, after which it creates a sphere of about 5 meters and deals void damage to any enemy caught in it. The sphere lasts for a fair amount of time too. Again, like the previous 2 grenades, the grenade's major pros are that it's great at dealing damage to slow or stationary foes, as well as being a useful area denial tool. The cons though are that it has a fairly low radius and fast moving foes can easily avoid it. Your main jumping ability is double jump. This ability gives the Nightstalker a second jump after leaving the ground. Use this wisely, as you can either press it directly after jumping for great height, or delay the second jump for great distance whilst airborne. You can enhance double jump in various ways. The first enhancement is higher jump. This upgrades the double jump to give you even greater height while jumping. The second enhancement is better control, and this gives the double jump better directional control while airborne. It also gives you +1 recovery. And the third enhancement is triple jump. This gives you an additional third jump when you're using double jump. The Nightstalker Hunter's super ability is Shadow Shot. Shadow Shot is a very special super ability. Once cast, the Nightstalker will leap into the air and the camera will pan out into third person. Guardians then have a second or two to readjust their aim if needed before the Nightstalker pulls back on the string and unleashes a void arrow towards targets. It deals moderate damage to foes who are hit by the arrow in PvE, and lethal damage in PvP. But the special thing about Shadow Shot is that after the arrow lands, it will create a small sphere that will latch on and tether nearby foes. Tethered foes take a lot more damage, both from you and more importantly, all your entire fire team. Tethered foes will also have their movement speed slowed, as well as their abilities muted. When I say muted, I mean as in they won't be able to use them. It can even knock other guardians out of their supers in the Crucible. You do have to be careful though, as you only really get one shot with the super unless you take QUIVER. So you need to think about your shot and try to go for either targets that need to die quickly or targets that need that debuff put on them, like for example bosses. Also with Shadow Shot, going for choke points also works really well, especially in PvP. Shadow Shot appears to have a slight tracking mechanic to assist with shots, albeit a very slight one. Shadow Shot can be enhanced in various ways. The first enhancement is Bloodbound. This causes enemies that you have tethered to explode when killed by you or your allies. This causes a void blast that will damage nearby enemies, possibly causing a massive chain reaction and obliterating groups of foes. The second enhancement is Black Hole. This increases 3 aspects of Shadow Shot. It increases the void tethering sphere, the duration of it, and the amount of foes it can tether. This is amazing for dealing with large groups of foes, or for when foes are slightly more spread out. It really does make things a lot easier in PvE. The third enhancement is QUIVER. This for a long time was broken due to a glitch, but has since been fixed. Basically, it allows you to fire 3 shadow shots instead of just 1. After firing the first arrow, your super will slowly drain until empty or until you have fired 3 arrows. This can be great for PvP, as it will allow you to get 3 potential kills. However, the downside of this is that the tethering anchors have reduced range, making it a tiny bit less viable in PvE. The Nightstalker Hunter's melee ability is Smoke. Unlike other melee abilities in the game, this in fact is not really a melee ability at all. It is instead a kind of second grenade. Granted, if close enough to a target, the Nightstalker will still strike out with their knife, but the Smoke melee ability can be used at range. Once thrown, it will detonate on impact with any surface or foe. It deals very light damage, but it can also slow and disorientate foes caught inside the smoke created from this small little smoke bomb. Smoke can be enhanced in various ways. The first enhancement is ENVENOMED. This adds toxins to the smoke and increases the damage it will deal to foes caught in its area of effect. A nice choice for when you are playing solo or for when you want this ability to deal more damage. It also gives you +1 agility. The second enhancement is VANISH in Smoke. This allows your smoke to enable both you and your allies to go into stealth as long as you were in the smoke area when it detonated. This is a great support tool for when you need to revive friends or when you need to help you or your allies pass through tough foes. The third enhancement is SNARE. This allows the smoke bomb before detonating to stick to any surface and remain there for a short duration until foes come into proximity with it. This allows your smoke to become basically a trap. This is very nice for Crucible when playing objective matches. Now next, moving on to talk about the ability modifiers. Ability modifiers are found in the 6th and 8th column of the talent tree. Ability modifiers are split into 2 tiers. For the Nightstalker Hunter's tier 1 you have the following. The first enhancement is Courage of the Pack. When you or one of your allies kill a tethered target, then it will grant the fireteam increased agility and recovery. This buff it gives you can stack up to 5 times too, allowing for a huge increase in both stats for a short duration. The second enhancement is Light of the Pack. Again, if you or your allies kill a tethered target, then these targets will drop orbs of light for your allies. Normally Shadow Shot only generates orbs from the initial target hit with Shadow Shot, but this potentially turns Shadow Shot into an orb generating factory. It can result in so many orbs, making it one of the best support options when it comes to PvE. The third enhancement is Lockdown. This allows your grenades and smoke to last twice as long, allowing for an increase in area denial capabilities for this subclass. It can also lead to a huge increase in terms of damage on slow moving or stationary targets. For tier 2 you have the following. The first enhancement is Keen Scout. This is a great ability for running solo. It gives the Nightstalker numerous benefits. It increases your sneaking and sprinting speeds. You also gain an increased tracker, which gives you more accurate radar and allow for farmable items to show up on the radar too. It also gives you the ability to mark targets you have damaged. So as you can see, you get a lot out of this enhancement. It really shines when playing solo or when in the Crucible. The Crucible really does benefit from the increased speed and the ability to mark targets that have been damaged. A very nice bonus. The second enhancement is Predator. This allows the Void Sphere anchors from your Shadow Shot to stick to surfaces and wait for nearby foes to come past. Like with Lockdown, this works great for setting up traps for opponents in both PvE and PvP. The third enhancement is Shade Step, a very unique and handy enhancement. If you press crouch twice, it will allow the Nightstalker to slip into the shadows and dodge attacks. This dodge is performed in third person, so the camera will pan out. This is an enhancement that can come in very handy once you've gotten used to it. It can disorientate foes in PvP, help keep you alive in PvE, and just looks awesome. The only downside is that you have to sacrifice one of your other two enhancements, which can sometimes be better than Shade Step. However, if you can get your hands on the exotic helm, the Graviton Forfeit, then this bit of gear will give you the enhancement for free. Next are the passive abilities. These are modifiers to your base stats, which include your armor, recovery and agility. These are found in columns 5 and 7 of your talent tree. Now I would say these are down to personal preference at the end of the day, and again these are divided up into 2 tiers. For tier 1 you have the following. Option 1 is Path Forgotten. This gives you +2 armor and +2 agility. Option 2 is Path Forbidden. This gives you +2 recovery and +2 agility. Option 3 is Path Unknown. This gives you +2 armor and +2 recovery. With tier 2 you have the following. Option 1 is Way of the Drifter. This gives you +2 armor, +1 recovery and +2 agility. Option 2 is Way of the Fearless, and this gives you a +5 armor. And finally option 3 is Way of the Nomad, and this gives you +4 recovery and +1 agility. Now Destiny is a game where you can have multiple specs, and you should always use what works best for you. However, I tend to spec the Nightstalker as follows. When it comes to grenades, I tend to go with either the VOIDWALL grenade or the VORTEX grenade. Almost all grenades available to the Nightstalker function similar to each other, as in they provide area denial with damage to slow foes. The spike grenade though is just too damn awkward at times to be practical. With the double jump ability, I tend to take triple jump, as it works well in both PvE and PvP. It also gives your jumping ability more versatility. With Shadow Shot, I will tend to take Black Hole for PvE to allow me to tether large groups, but it also allows for room for error with my Shadow Shot. However, I will switch to Quiver for PvP, for multiple Shadow Shot arrows and a chance for more kills with the super. As for Smoke, I will tend to take Vanish in Smoke, as I do enjoy the cloaking aspect of this enhancement. This applies for both PvE and PvP. If cloaking is not your thing though, I would recommend taking Envenomed for its increased damage. With the ability modifiers, I tend to favour Light of the Pack to allow this class to become an orb generating machine. I will though sometimes switch to Lockdown in PvP on objective game modes. With tier 2 I will go with King Scout for the multiple buffs it provides that enhances both your PvE, PvP and solo capabilities. I do enjoy Shadow Step too, especially for PvP, but like I mentioned, I would do my best to get my hands on the Graviton Forfeit to allow me to get this enhancement for free, and still take King Scout. With the passives I tend to balance armor, recovery and agility with the Nightstalker. With the Nightstalker I will always stack intellect over the other stats to allow for more shadow shots. Overall, the Nightstalker Hunter is a supporting player's subclass of choice. They are able to enhance themselves and their team through a variety of area denial, damage over time, buffs to themselves and allies, debuffs to foes, traps they can set up, and the fact that they can make orbs for days. With that in mind, your mindset needs to be focusing on how you can boost your team. Use your shadow shots on either groups of foes to make lots of orbs, or when you need to increase damage on a boss or tough foe. The same principles can apply for Crucible too, although you can be a little bit more selfish when it comes to PvP. While they may lack the damage capabilities of the Blade Dancer and Gunslinger, they can play a very important role in PvE. With patience and the right attitude, the Nightstalker can be one of the best PvE classes in the game, by elevating not only themselves, but their whole fire team. A must in anyone's raid team. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, bringing you my guide to the Nightstalker Hunter, as I guide you through Destiny. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.